Alright, so what we have here is a source which has duplicate values, and it's stored in the table called duplicate source. I had gone into Oracle SQL Developer to make it under the two connections that I have. One is an employee target table and the HR root table. So as you see here, I've actually just created a small table with duplicate values, and in the employee target database, I've created two tables, that is duplicate target with two columns and originals of the two columns. Now the objective of this exercise is to segregate the duplicate rows from the original rows. What I mean to say is segregate the duplicate entries into one target, and whatever entries have not been repeated or are unique to that source table, I need to send it to a different target table. Alright, so with that in mind, what I have done is I have dragged and dropped the duplicate source with two columns, and it's passed on to the source qualifier by way of default. And like you see here, there is a duplicates target and an originals target table that I have added. Now the idea is that we pass these two columns that you see here, column 1 and column 2, an aggregate transformation. Now look, real quick, let's do the aggregate transformation part, and let's name this aggregate transformation with a sensible name, aggregate for counting, right? Aggregate for counting, and you will understand why we are doing that. Let's apply and say okay, there are no output ports, that's fine. Hit OK. Now transfer these two ports into the aggregate column. Open the aggregate column under the ports, add a new port, right? Add a new port. Undo this, or maybe just pass it to the bottom and call it count call, and this should be a integer data type. Precision is fine. This is going to be this is going to be an output file, and the expression that it will carry is that it will count for me the key. I'll validate. It says it's passed properly. I hit OK, and I group by my key column, which is column 1. Now the point to note here is I'm just trying out a permutation in the database. As you will notice here, I have not mentioned what the primary keys are. The column 1 has not been defined as a primary key, neither has it been defined. Let me show it to you real quick. Describe what is it called? Duplicate sources. Duplicate source. This is my source table, and you'll see here there is no primary key defined here. So what I'm trying to do is assign a primary key within the transformation. Let's see if that works. If it doesn't, we'll have to start off again by adding it in the Oracle database. I say apply, right? I say okay. Now the next thing that you need to do is okay, let me walk you through the logic. The logic is that, let's say a database with column 1 and column 2 with the following values comes in A and B, right? And the second column is B and C, third is E and F, and third is again A and B. Now remember, the space here denotes that the one on the right side is the second column. Now as the rows are passed, it will notice that A and B is going to be given a count of 1 because we are counting column 1 here. As it goes to the next, it sees that the key is B. Nowhere else is the key B over here, so that count will also receive a count of 1. So the variable count column will store a value of 1 for the second row. It will come to the third row. Similarly, since E is not repeated anywhere else in column 1, it is going to give it a value of 1 again under count column. However, when you come to the fourth entry, you see A and B, which is exact similar entry as the one at the top, has A as the primary key assigned within the transformation. Note that, assigned within the transformation, right? Now it's going to assign its value greater than 1. So count column for A comma B will be 2. Now what I need to do is I have two distinct sort of values. One value is count of columns, which is 1, and count of column, which is greater than 1. So as logic suggests, I need to split these outputs, for which I use a router transformation. I place the router transformation, open it, rename it router Duke and original, and I say apply. It will give me an input that there is no input ports, and I send all of these here. Now all I need to do is give two conditions. I need to create groups. I create two groups. I say group 1 is for duplicates, where I again come here, go to ports, I say count column is greater than 1. I validate this expression, it says pass successfully, and I say okay. Right, second group will be for originals, and here the expression will be, as you rightly guessed, count column is equal to 1. Let me validate this. It says okay. Let's apply this. Now the default group is anything that doesn't fit into either of these criteria goes into the default group. I apply it and I say okay. So as you see, notice here there are two groups created here, duplicates and distinct. So now all we need to do is pass this to the hang on, I need to okay, see the problem that has occurred here is that the duplicates target table has just one column, whereas there are two columns coming in from the source. So all I need to do is delete this duplicates table, duplicates target, which I had created about a few months back and I had not updated again on this in this side. I'm going to delete it from the mapping, right? Go to my target designer and I'm going to open my duplicates target table, and I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this from the folder. I say okay, and all I'm going to do is add the duplicate targets database from the duplicates table from the database. So I say duplicates target, I say okay. A target with the duplicate name might not have been deleted or checked in. So what I have to do is I rename this, or maybe just simply go back, hit cancel, hit control save, because I've deleted the duplicates target, import that entire process again. Right, now you see there are two columns here. Now as simple as it is, drag the duplicate target here and transfer the ports from the duplicates group to the respective parts. It's alright if you don't direct anything from the default anywhere. Now just hit Control S to see if there is any validation error. The validation error will be shown down here. It says, has it been validated? It says mapping segregating duplicates have been valid. Okay, now we have created the mapping. The next thing that we need to do is design a workflow for this. I say okay. There's an existing workflow, that's fine. I just need to go to the task developer and design my own task. I say create. Under sessions I say session segregating dupes, that's my task name, and I'm going to map it to the correct mapping that I've created. You see this segregating duplicates, I need to do that, yes. Now go into the session properties and go to the mapping part, and this is where there's the most important connections that we need to make. So originals comes from not the target table, so we need to change this out and put root table, and the duplicates does come from the target table, and the source qualifier again has to come from where? It has to come from the target source table. So the source connection, target source connection value would be root, and target connection value would be employee target. Let's see, apply this, and I say okay. I go to my workflow designer. I for the moment delete this task and add the new session workflow that I've created. I have not created a workflow, so good. Let's create the workflow. I rename it as workflow segregating duplicates, and I say okay. I transfer it here. Oh, okay, what's happening? Okay, this is a workflow for segregating duplicates. I go to sessions and I transfer this here and I connect it with the link. and hit Ctrl S to see if there's anything. It says loading rows is invalid. So okay, I think what I need to do is Ctrl S first. I need to delete this. I need to delete this. It's not getting deleted, that's fine. I open the workflow. Start is here, right? I send this here. And add it over here in the second row. And it says it's valid. Now let's keep our fingers crossed, because a lot of times in the first session run it gives errors. But if everything has been done correctly, it will run properly and the success should show here. It's shown that it has failed. Let us see what it has failed at. So it says, in fact a better way to do it is just open this here and understand what error has been given. It says first error code 8229, database error occurred, table view does not exist. Okay, so it says originals table does not exist. Interesting. So originals table does not exist is the answer. So let's see if I can commit originals. Is there a table called origin? Or okay, right, I see what I've done. See the spelling mistake here, it says originals. I must have originals. It's the same table. Right, let's go into the workflow and pause it for a minute. Alright folks, I think I figured it out. Why the error was occurring was because in the session properties I had mistakenly mentioned the connections for the target as the source. So I'll show you what I had done. I had just mapped the originals database connection to, instead of employee target, to HR root, so it could never find the table. So what I did was simply corrected the originals database connection to employees target. I hit OK, right? I Control NS. I've already saved it before resuming the video. So let's run the mapping to see if it is loading data or not. So this is a new run of my session and it's succeeded. How do I know whether it is actually loaded data or not? I go into the source target statistics and see what the output for the applied, affected, rejected rows is, and it says in the duplicate rows only one row has been inserted, that is the A comma B value. Originals has two values, that is EF and BC basically, and the source of course has been read for four rows. Now to cross verify whether this all has happened, I basically run these scripts. In the originals I run it, I see PC and EF have been inserted, so correctly it has been separated, and in the duplicates target it should show me A and B. Perfect. So this was my demo for understanding how to segregate original values from duplicate values. Till next time, see you and have fun. Ciao.